All right, today we're going to look at our Nova D deadbolt MKO, mechanical key override. We've got our 48 SKU 13 right here in front of us. That is our Nova deadbolt with key override in a U13 finish, which is an oil rub bronze that has an ultra coating over it. So let's look at the box, see what all's in here. We've got a template here. I don't need that today. We've got our battery pack here. Go ahead and open that up and pull our batteries out, set them to the side. It's 3 AA batteries there. We've got our deadbolt housing. The mechanical key override is going to reside right underneath this black cap here. I'll show that to you in just a little bit. We've got our screw pack here. I'll show you that when I open it. We've got our actual deadbolt latch here. Go ahead and pull that out. Just be careful with this because it is lubricated at the factory, so it's a little greasy. Now, there's a slot right here in it. That is where the tailpiece will go through. Make sure that slot is at the bottom of the deadbolt, not sitting at the top like that. It's got to be at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that in my demo mount just to get it out of the way. So sit over here. And then we've got our inside housing in here. Let's get this stuff out of the way. That's our inside housing. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. It's got a Phillips head screw there at the top. Once I pull that out, I can then pull this cover off. Sometimes you may have to get something that's kind of get inside there and lift up on it just because it sticks a little. When it's on the door, that won't be an issue. So I'm gonna set that cover and screw out of the way and set that battery housing out of the way. Let's look inside this screw pack now. It's our dust box and our armored deadbolt plate and our actual strike plate. And we've got the long screws to help actually get in there, bite into the 2x4 frame so we have a good strong deadbolt. I'm gonna set those to the side because I don't need them today since we're putting this on a demo mount. We've got an extra cover for the front just to cover up that mechanical keyway. I'm gonna set that to the side for now. We've got our tailpiece and all our screws and lock washers here. Kind of pour these out and slide them over a little. First thing I want to do is grab 2 of these oil rub bronze wood screws. I'm going to take my mount and turn it on its side here, and then I can run these screws in. You're not going to be able to turn the door on its side in the field, but I've got an advantage in here. So I'm going to run those in, and just matter of pride, I like to make sure these screws are facing the same way. Kind of get them pointed up and down just to make it look a little neater. All right, we're gonna do a right-handed door here. So my deadbolt housing is gonna go on the outside here, but I've got to take this deadbolt housing and prep it first. One, I don't need the gasket on here right now, just because this is for exterior locks when you're gonna have weather on the door. This is on demo mount, so I don't need this right now. But I've got to put this mechanical keyway in it first. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this front cover off, get a screwdriver and kind of pry into that middle there a little bit. Pop that cover off, set it to the side for a moment. Now you see I've got a hole straight through the lock there. Lay this down, I'm gonna pull these 4 Phillips head screws off the back. They are different lengths, so keep them in the right order. The 2 at the top are the shorter ones. The medium is the bottom left, as I'm looking at it. The long one's the bottom right here. I'm gonna take and just pull this cover off and set it to the side. Now my keyway, the keyway was not in the box. We job ship these. The keyway is specific to your job site. So what I've got here for the keyway, you would have had in a separate box, and your entire property would either be keyed alike or master keyed, something like that. I'm gonna take this keyway and drop it down inside here. Just slides right on down in. I can see it on the front. I could go ahead and stick my key in and turn it and just make sure it's tripping the limit switch on the back. And if you notice when I turn the thumb turn, this middle section doesn't move at all. But if I turn the keyway and then turn that thumb turn, you can see it moving. So that way I know everything's right on it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that key out just to get it out of the way. Then we'll put the back cover back on. Everything's lined up nice and neat there. Get my screws in the right way. Remember that long one goes down here on the bottom right, medium bottom left, and these shorter ones go up here at the top. So I'm going to take and just tighten those down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set my handing, grab my tailpiece here. If the outer ring here, the notch in it is pointed up on the outer ring, that's left hand. If it's pointed down, that's right hand. I've got it pointed down because this is right hand. I'm gonna take this tailpiece and snap it in place and kind of wiggle it, make sure it's in there real well. When I put this through the door, I wanna make sure this wire goes underneath that deadbolt latch. So I'm gonna bring my door over here. I'm gonna slide this underneath the deadbolt, the tailpiece right through that slot in the deadbolt. Kind of push it on there. And then I'm gonna cheat again and lay my door down flat. Got my inside housing here. Got a little oval shaped cutout here. That's where my wire goes through. Tailpiece goes through that biggest hole. Now I'm gonna grab my big screw and lock washer. That's gonna go in this big hole at the bottom. Now, want to make sure you're using the lock washers and that you snug these screws down good, because if you notice, this wire only has a single conductor. That's the positive. Negative is actually carried through the screws. So you want to make sure that you've got the everything tightened down right, everything in place where it goes. Make sure you're using the lock washers on your screws here. These two screws go up here just underneath the battery housing. Get them started. And then I've got two more screws, a little bit smaller. Get my lock washers on them, and they will go on each side of that tailpiece there for a total of 5 screws holding all this together. That one on and that one on. I'm going to tighten these a bit. I'm not going to snug them all the way. I'm just going to kind of tighten them down to where they're touching. Make sure I got my lock washers on every one of them like I'm supposed to. So just tighten away on them. You can use your drill if you want. Just easy doing it by hand right now. I'm going to pick this up. Now, your lock, you want to be true to the edge of the door here. Not worried about level, we're worried about true to the edge. If you're doing a lot of these, you may want to get a template and space it off right here just so it's even distance from the edge of the door. Kind of line it up. Same thing with the inside piece, get it true to the edge. Then we're going to go ahead and tighten these down. Make sure they're snug, because remember that power is carried through the screws, the negative portion of the power. So we got to make sure these things are snug down all the way. I've got them tightened down good. I'm going to go ahead and pop my batteries in the housing. They're in there. I'm going to plug my battery cable in. It is keyed and only goes one way. When I plug it in, I heard that motor whir, so I know that it actually got power in there. I'm going to tuck this wire in the white clip over here out of the way so it stays out of the way of that tailpiece. Now, to line the back housing up real easily, I'm going to go ahead and take a pair of pliers or something, just grab this tailpiece and turn it, just extend that out. Makes it a little easier. Sometimes you can grab them with your fingers, sometimes you need pliers. But I'm going to extend that tailpiece out, and then I'm going to take this back cover. I'm going to make sure that it catches on the bottom. I'm going to put it on that tailpiece. I'm going to catch it on the bottom and then push it up so it lines up that screw on the top. Once I get that screw at the top lined up, then I can take my screwdriver and tighten that down. And I can test my lock for all the different things. Turn my thumb turn, it latches, unlatches. I read my construction credential on it. It opens, closes, And then last, I want to try that key because this is mechanical key override. I'm going to turn that key and I can retract and extend the latch with that key turned. If I take the key out, it won't. I'm going to take my little cap as a final step just to make it look nicer. And I'm going to pop that cap in place there. And it's all on here. That's how we put on the Nova D mechanical key override. Thank you.